of the day for Brazil. Here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo! And a little point after. I mean, come on.
Picture this. Caitlin Clark hits a deep logo three.
Impact and what it has done and how they are living out their dreams today.
And right on cue, Clark connects on another bomb. 2 for 2 from 3.
The crowd explodes. Her teammates rush over. The TV cameras zoom in. And she doesn't scream. She doesn't pound her chest. She doesn't taunt the other team. She just looks up into the stands and quietly makes a heart with her hands. Most people think that's a cute celebration, but it's not. It is a private message, and it has a story that says everything about who Caitlin Clark really is, how she handles fame, and why she has changed women's basketball forever.
You know, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1. People don't see the numbers below, like the economic impact, 36 million she drove to Indianapolis just by showing up as a rookie and making history.
Today, we're breaking down the real meaning behind Caitlin Clark's heart gesture, how it started, how it got dragged into controversy, and why it might be the most important symbol in all of women's sports. If you've watched Caitlin Clark since Iowa, you already know this. The heart doesn't go to the cameras. It doesn't go to the whole arena. It goes to one place, her family.
Like that?
I like that you're here. I like that you're here.
I do that at my family after every game, so
okay,
it's
well,
pretty cool.
Every game, her parents, Brent and Ann, and her brothers tried to be in the building. From empty gyms in youth basketball to sold-out arenas in college, they were the constant. When the rest of the world saw a superstar, they still saw their kid. So somewhere along the way, as the noise got louder and the cameras got closer, Caitlin made a choice. She needed a way to say, "I love you," that could cut through all of it. No microphones, no interviews, no speeches, just one simple signal that her family would always understand. That's where the heart started. Not as a brand, not as a marketing plan, but as a silent code between a daughter and her family in the stands. She hits a big shot. She looks up. She forms the heart. And in the middle of the chaos, it's like she's back in a small gym in Iowa, just playing in front of the people who knew her before the world did. As her game exploded at Iowa, the heart exploded with it. She broke the NCAA scoring record.
Clark from the logo! She gets it out of that left hand, and it's money. You bet!
He's trying to redirect a pass. Clark. Oh my!
Clark, can she answer? Of course. You better be careful. There might be another one coming right here.
She pulled up from the logo. She dragged Iowa to back-to-back national title games. Every arena she walked into sold out. TV ratings spiked past NBA games. The Caitlin Clark effect became a real economic engine for women's basketball. But therefore, something else happened too. When she made that heart, kids started copying it. You could see it in the crowd. Little girls wearing Iowa 22 jerseys, forming hearts back at her. Parents holding up signs with drawn hearts on them. The gesture stopped being just a private message. It turned into a bridge. On one side, Caitlin and her family. On the other side, millions of fans who felt for the first time that women's basketball was being treated like a main event. The heart became a symbol of that. Not trash talk, not ego, not "look at me." Just, "I see you. You see me. We're in this together." But the moment something becomes powerful, people will test it. So when Caitlin Clark was introduced as a member of the Indiana Fever in April 2024, that heart gesture walked straight into a storm. At her first big press conference, with cameras rolling and her entire pro career about to begin, a columnist from the Indianapolis Star, Greg Doyel, tried to be clever. He made the heart sign at her, right there. Caitlin stayed calm. She explained politely, "I do that at my family after every game."
I do that at my family after every game, so
Okay,
it's
well,
pretty cool.
That should have been the end of it. But instead of respecting that boundary, he joked back, "Start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine."
start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine. So,
In that moment, everything changed. The thing she used to protect herself was suddenly being used as a prop. The clip went viral. Fans were angry. Women's sports advocates called it out as creepy and unprofessional.
I think Caitlin gave him a lot of grace. She didn't fire back. She didn't try to make a big deal about it. She really just kept things moving, and she and a lot of athletes sometimes get asked very insensitive and delicate questions.
And here's why it hit so hard. People already knew Caitlin Clark was carrying pressure that most rookies never face. She was supposed to save a franchise, carry a league's ratings, be the face of every brand from Nike to Gatorade. But that heart wasn't part of that business. It was hers. So when someone tried to make it a joke, it exposed how often women athletes have their boundaries tested in ways men don't. And the reaction to that moment was the world saying, "No, you don't get to take this from her." The columnist apologized. He was suspended.
The reporter is now apologizing, calling his comments clumsy and awkward.
The story faded from the news cycle. But for Caitlin, the meaning of the heart didn't change. If anything, it became even more clear. This is not for you. This is for them, my family. Once she actually stepped on the court in the WNBA, the heart came with her. In her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, Caitlin did what stars are supposed to do. She turned a struggling franchise into must-see TV. She led the league in assists. She dropped the first rookie triple-double in WNBA history.
The others coming into the game.
Logo! Clark with a deep three.
Three that you've been waiting for.
Clark, nice feed. Wallace with the layup. And Caitlin Clark catalyzing a comeback here. Bonner gets denied by Boston. Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
She dragged Indiana back into the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Every big run felt like something out of a movie. Logo threes, no-look passes, crowds in Fever gear and old Iowa jerseys. And still, after those moments, she would look for them. Her parents in the crowd, her people. Heart hands, game after game, arena after arena, you could see it. A superstar who refuses to let the sport swallow her whole. Because here's the secret, the heart isn't just about love, it's about control. Caitlin can't control the refs. She can't control what talking heads say about her. She can't control who takes cheap shots at her on the court or online.
I'm talking about in college. Who plays the style that how
What
Kate
is the
plays?
style? Just threes?
Wow.
What,
Not just threes.
what is her style?
Second page. Next question.
So you had the #1 pick this year. You would take Paige over Caitlin?
Absolutely.
Does Caitlin Clark need a championship to be considered one of the greats in women's college basketball history?
Yeah. She does.
But she can control who that gesture goes to. She can choose to keep one part of her career rooted in something that existed long before the fame. That is why the heart matters. There's another layer to this too. Women's basketball has been pulled into culture wars over celebrations and trash talk. Think about the "you can't see me" gesture. Think about all the debates around Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and what is acceptable when women show emotion. People argued for weeks over taunts, hand waves, and face gestures. But therefore, Caitlin's heart sits in complete contrast to all of that. It's not about humiliating an opponent. It's not about flexing on the other team. It's soft. It's vulnerable. It's almost the exact opposite of what we expect from a killer scorer who pulls from 30 feet. And that's what makes it so powerful. Because it tells young players watching at home, you can be fierce and kind. You can chase records and still honor your family. You can live inside a business that treats you like an asset, but still keep something that is only yours. In a sports world that rewards loud, aggressive branding, her biggest brand moment is a quiet, "I love you," aimed at the people who loved her first. Away from the cameras, her life is built on that same foundation. Caitlin grew up in West Des Moines, Iowa, in a family where sport was normal and work ethic was expected. Her dad played sports in college. Her brothers pushed her, competed with her, and refused to treat her like anything less than one of the guys. Her parents drove her to games, watched her fail, watched her rise, and stayed with her through everything long before anyone knew her name. So when you see her pause and make that heart, you're not just seeing a celebration, you're seeing years of rides to practice. You're seeing long nights in empty gyms. You're seeing a family that poured everything into a dream they couldn't guarantee would pay off. Now it has. Nike money, national commercials, Rookie of the Year, record-breaking ratings. But in her world, the heart is still payment too. A small way of saying, "This is ours. We did this together." Of course, the story hasn't been perfect. In 2025, her second WNBA season was cut short by a serious groin injury. 13 games, that's all she got. For the first time in years, fans had to imagine a WNBA season without Caitlin Clark in it. No nightly logo threes, no no-look passes, no heart gestures to the stands. Instead, they saw photos of her rehabbing, stories about her turning down the new, unrivaled 3-on-3 league so she could get fully healthy for 2026. And something interesting happened. Even when she wasn't playing, that heart symbol stayed alive. Fans kept doing it in pictures. Kids still posted TikToks hitting backyard shots and throwing hearts to the camera. Posters, fan art, and brand campaigns all leaned into it. The gesture kept moving, even when she couldn't. That's when you know a symbol has escaped the person who started it. It still belongs to her, but it also belongs to anyone who has ever felt seen and inspired by her journey. Now, as she prepares for her return, Caitlin Clark is in a place no one else in women's basketball has ever been. She is one of the highest earning athletes in the sport. She has a huge Nike deal, a signature shoe, and more sponsorship money than most entire teams have in salary. She has carried college ratings, WNBA ratings, and national debates. People call it the Caitlin Clark effect. They point to sold-out arenas and record TV numbers. But here's the part that gets missed. The thing that made all of that work was never just the logo threes. It was the connection. You can copy a shooting form. You can copy a move. But what fans plugged into was the feeling that this person was real, that she was playing for something deeper than herself. And that's what the heart says every single time. I'm not just here for the lights. I'm here for them, my family, the people who believed first. So the next time you see Caitlin Clark make that gesture after a big shot, remember this. It is not random. It is not just a cute pose. It is a story. A story about a kid from Iowa who became the face of women's basketball. A story about a family that never missed a game. A story about boundaries, respect, and what happens when the world tries to turn a private signal into a public joke. A story about how, in a sport built on competition, the most powerful symbol might actually be love. And now, I want to hear from you. What does Caitlin Clark's heart gesture mean to you? Do you have a favorite moment where she used it? Have you, or your kids, copied it in your own games? Drop your thoughts and your stories in the comments. Because in the end, that heart isn't just between Caitlin and her family anymore. It's between her and all of us who are watching what she's building.
Again, it's interesting. No Asia Wilson, no Angel Reese. Everybody leads you to believe that it's always Angel. Nah, they just told you the next one up is Sabrina Ionescu. That actually does not surprise me for some reason. I don't know why.
Asia Wilson just got fired from Team USA. At least that's what it feels like. There was no press conference, no statement, no farewell tour for the face of the last Olympic team. Instead, USA Basketball quietly dropped a December training camp roster.
Basketball soon. I mean, I don't know how much access we'll actually have to this, but Team USA announced the official invites for the training camp they'll be having in December, and Caitlin Clark amongst them, as is her teammate Aaliyah Boston. So those teammates get to team up for Team USA, which makes a lot of sense. And I've said for a while, I think that the next version of the USA Olympic team could be a bit of a dream team, given you'll have the players that came up in this explosive era of basketball, along with the remaining veterans who are still in their prime. And it will be this recognizable roster, of course, headlined by Caitlin Clark, who rather famously didn't make the team in 2024.
Caitlin Clark's name was on it. A'ja Wilson's name was not. And when that list hit the internet, fans didn't need a press release. They looked at Caitlin walking into camp, A'ja stuck at home, and said the 2 words on your thumbnail: you're fired. Because this isn't just any camp. This is where the blueprint for the 2026 World Cup and the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics is being drawn.
When it is, we are going to see Caitlin Clark back on a basketball court with other participants. This is going to be rather interesting because we are going to see Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Beckers all playing together. Now, we talked about the fact that Team USA, I believe it is in March, is going to play, I believe, in some qualifiers. That's probably when we're going to get to see Caitlin Clark play actual meaningful basketball again. But training camp is coming. The senior camp is coming. And it's coming in like 2 weeks. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, and Juju Watkins.
And Caitlin Clark is in the building while A'ja Wilson is watching from the sidelines. So how did we get here? For years, A'ja was sold as the safe face of women's basketball. Champion, MVP, defensive monster. Team USA gold medals. If there was one player who should have been untouchable, it was her. But somewhere along the way, the game picked somebody else. Caitlin Clark didn't just show up and hit logo threes. She broke every record you can think of. She sold out arenas that had never even cared about women's basketball. She made TV networks rewrite their schedules and advertisers rewrite their budgets. And brands followed. Nike, State Farm. Every major sponsor looking for a global face didn't hesitate. They didn't say, let's build around the old guard. They said, we want Caitlin Clark. That shift put A'ja in a spot she had never been in before. She went from the one everyone chased to the one chasing. Every time Caitlin did something historic, there was a new quote, a new comment, a new actually from the old guard. Talking about how other players should have been there first, how the attention was interesting, how the hype wasn't matching the real pecking order. On paper, it sounded like normal competitive talk. But to fans, it looked like something else, jealousy. Because here's what regular people saw. Caitlin's ratings were real. Her sellouts were real. Her shoe sales were real. Her impact on little kids wearing 22 in every gym in America was real. So when A'ja and others tried to downplay it, fans said, that's not honest. That's not reality. You're just mad the spotlight moved. And USA Basketball was watching all of this play out in real time. Remember, Team USA is not just picking the best hoopers. They're picking a product, a story, a group of 12 faces that will represent the country on every poster, every commercial, every highlight reel for the next 4 years. So when the new camp roster dropped, it told you everything. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, Juju Watkins, Aaliyah Boston.
Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers to make USA senior camp debuts. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, and Juju Watkins will be among the 10 players making their USA Basketball senior national team camp debuts next month when the storied basketball program hosts a training camp at Duke University from December 12th to December 14th. Why is it at Duke University? Well, the head coach, Kara Lawson, is the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils as well.
A wave of young stars whose games fit perfectly around a high pace, high spacing guard who can run the entire floor like a video game. And no A'ja Wilson. Officially, no one said, we are done with her. They don't have to. Leaving your name off that list at the exact moment Caitlin Clark is being brought in sends a louder message than any quote ever could. Because this camp isn't just about drills and scrimmages, it's a chemistry test. What does Team USA look like when Caitlin is the one pushing the pace? What happens when the system is built for her eyes, her passing, and her shooting range? Which bigs fit around that? Which wings can keep up? And more importantly, who becomes expendable in that world? For years, the formula was simple. Start with Asia. Build around Asia. Everyone else can fight for the remaining minutes. Now, the formula looks different. Start with Caitlin. Who makes her better? Who makes the floor wider? Who turns her passes into easy buckets and her gravity into open shots? That is why people are calling this a firing. Not because Asia will never wear USA across her chest again, but because for the first time, the national team made a huge decision without her and did it around Caitlin Clark instead. And here's the craziest part. Asia did not lose this spot because she suddenly got bad at basketball. Her numbers are still insane. Her defense is still elite. On talent alone, she absolutely belongs in the conversation. But this is not just about talent anymore. It's about who grows the game, who brings sponsors, who gets casual fans to tune in at 3 a.m. for a game in Germany, who parents will let their kids stay up late to watch. Right now, fair or not, that answer is Caitlin Clark. So when you put all of this together, the jealousy, the public shots, the refusal to fully embrace the new face of the sport. And then you look at this Team USA camp, where Caitlin Clark walks through the front door, and Asia Wilson's name isn't even on the list. It feels less like a coincidence, and more like a verdict. Team USA didn't tweet, "You're fired." They just moved on. Now the question is simple. Did they make the right call? Should Team USA build the next era around Caitlin Clark, even if it means leaving legends like Asia on the outside? Or is this an overreaction to hype that will eventually cool off? Let me know whose side you're on in the comments. And if you're still watching, drop Team Clark USA down below so I know you made it to the end.
So today, lads, we are going to be talking about this article. It's like the most powerful women in sports, America's most powerful women in sports. But if you guys don't know, Caitlin Clark is listed at number 4 here. I'm glad they said America, because a lot of the time you see like these lists just being American people.
Forbes just changed everything. They did not put Caitlin Clark on a cute little list. They crowned her the most powerful female athlete on planet Earth. Number 4 on their entire sports power ranking, but the top ranked athlete.
Let's talk about Caitlin Clark flexing her muscles when it comes to being one of the most powerful women in all of sports. And I think this is an interesting list that Forbes put out. There are 2 WNBA players on here. By the way, for all the unrivaled, it's not a conflict of interest, folks.
And that is when Asia Wilson started to lose it. This is not just about a magazine list. This is about money, power, and who really runs women's sports in 2025. By the end of this video, you will understand why Caitlin was crowned number 1 and why Asia's reaction might be a huge mistake. Let's start with the part the old guard does not want to talk about. Caitlin did not just have a good rookie season. She broke the system. On paper, her WNBA salary looks like any other rookie, around $60,000 to $70,000. But once you zoom out, the real number hits you in the face.
But if you guys don't know, Caitlin Clark is listed at number 4 here. And the reason why I'm telling you guys Caitlin Clark, it says here, her estimate 8.1 million income for a rookie season. She probably made double that. And that might be conservative. Saying she made double that might actually be conservative.
$8.1 million in a single year. That is Forbes running the math. Salary, endorsements, appearance fees. One season of basketball turned into new wealth, and that is before she even hits her prime. The engine behind that number is simple. Brands know she moves people. Nike locked her into an 8-year, $28 million deal. Before her first pro tip-off, she had already secured more guaranteed money from one brand than many players will see in an entire career.
And by the way, as we look at this list, brand president Nike, CEO of FanDuel, and of course Gail Benson, who we just talked about. This is showing you what I have been saying. It confirms what I have been saying. Caitlin Clark is the most powerful woman in not just basketball, but women's sports, all of women's sports.
Then Gatorade stepped in. This is the same company that built campaigns around LeBron James and Serena Williams. They do not hand out deals to be nice. They invest in athletes who can move product and shift culture. Putting Caitlin in that tier sent a clear message. In the eyes of global brands, she is not just another good player. She is the face of the next era. Wilson Sporting Goods made it even louder. They did not just sign her. They made her the face of their basketball line, the first athlete to get that treatment since Michael Jordan. Every time a kid walks into a store and sees her name on a ball, that is brand power you cannot fake. But the endorsements are only half the story. Whenever Clark plays, numbers explode. TV ratings jump. Games that would have drawn a few 100,000 viewers suddenly clear over 1 million. Arenas that used to be half empty are sold out. And it is not just the league making money. Local bars, restaurants, car parks, merch stands, all feel it. Cities hosting her games see spikes on game day. Caitlin is not just filling a box score, she is moving cash across communities. So when Forbes says most powerful, that is what they are measuring. Earnings, influence, eyeballs, economic impact. Now here is where the story gets messy, because A'ja Wilson did not take that news well. Nobody is denying A'ja's greatness. Multiple championships, MVPs, a Hall of Fame legacy. She has done everything you can do on the court. But power in 2025 is not just trophies. It is attention. It is how many people stop what they are doing when your name shows up on screen. And that is where the gap between these two players is massive. The cracks started to show as soon as Caitlin's Nike deal hit the internet. While fans were celebrating this win for women's basketball, A'ja's posts suddenly shifted. More talk about paying dues, more reminders about real impact and sustained excellence. On the surface, it looked harmless. Lined up with the timeline, it looks like something else. Then came the shoe talk. Right as Caitlin's brand exploded, A'ja started pushing content about her own signature shoe harder than ever. Constant reminders, throwbacks, close-ups. It felt less like normal promotion and more like a veteran trying to prove she still deserved to be treated as the face of the league. When Time magazine named Caitlin Athlete of the Year, the pattern continued. A'ja's congratulations was technically there. A short post, a quick story, but the energy was nothing like the long, emotional messages she gives to other players. Fans noticed it. It felt cold. It felt forced. And then Forbes dropped the hammer. Caitlin crowned the most powerful female athlete. A'ja pushed down to number 15. Everything that had been simmering in the background boiled over. Instead of saying, "This is good for all of us," A'ja doubled down on the same talking points. More shade about hype. More quotes about how real greatness takes time. More energy spent on controlling the narrative than celebrating the fact that someone finally blew the ceiling off what any of them can earn. That is not competitive fire. That is ego. And here is the truth the league does not want to say out loud. You do not get to decide who the face of the sport is. The audience does. The numbers do. The brands do. When millions of new fans show up for one player, when networks change their schedules around her, when sponsors pour millions behind her, that is not an opinion. That is reality. Caitlin Clark did not steal anything from A'ja Wilson. She unlocked a level of attention and money women's basketball has never seen. Everyone in the league benefits from that. bigger TV deals, higher contract ceilings, more kids watching, more respect from other sports. If veterans choose jealousy over growth, they are only hurting themselves. So when you hear about A'ja Wilson losing it over Caitlin being crowned #1, understand what is really going on. This is not about a list. It is about who is ready to embrace the future and who is terrified of being left behind by it. Caitlin is not just the #1 female athlete on a Forbes ranking. She is the test of whether women's basketball can finally get out of its own way. If you are still watching, drop Team Clark in the comments so I know you made it to the end.